Hello and welcome to the Collectors of Power podcast. My name is Bob. I'm your host tonight with my friend Rhino
Battle Armor Rhino
and the Tie Box Ryan.
What's up, everyone?
So, for this episode, we thought we'd talk about the what we feel like is the worst and the best of the vintage lines and the origin lines. Because we've had quite a few figures come out over the last few years. And I think everybody could agree there's been, very positive sides, and there's been some, sculpts that some people don't like or some features that people don't like. And as much as we like to adore the vintage line, there's still some figures that are a little, not favorable sometimes.
You can just say Gwildor. Like, you don't have to hide it.
I wasn't trying to say it. I wasn't trying to discriminate.
You can just say Gwildor. We all know which one you're talking about.
What are you talking about? He's your favorite right now.
Trash.
So, Rhino, why don't you start? What do you feel like has been the worst things to come out of Origins so far?
So, comparing and contrasting some of the original figures to the new line, I feel like they started in a good spot, and then they have grown wildly swinging in both directions. Some figures they've really knocked out of the park with phenomenal updates, and some I'm just like, did y'all even play with the original figure at all? Because I don't think you did. I think you saw a picture, and you were like, well, we got to recreate this, so we don't know how it worked originally. So, for me, I'm going to start with some of my honorable mentions. Original Skeletor's face, for me, is a huge letdown. We went from the beautiful sculpt of the original vintage figure till we got like multiple mouth openings in Origins where like he's smiling, or he's like sort of screaming maybe, or he's got like a smirk. What are your all's thoughts on the face of Skeletor?
You don't love the smiley guy?
I don't.
Now I have one, so you can't see it. It's over here. I have my Skeletor shelf, and I was looking at him. Does one of them? And again, I'm red green colorblind, so I apologize. But does one of them have red, almost jewel inserts in his eyes?
Yes, and that one's my favorite.
Okay, because I stood over there the other day, and I was looking, and I'm like, does it? I can't tell. And I'm comparing, and being red green colorblind, I can't tell shit. And I was like, I think this one has it. So I do that. Yeah. And I kept looking. I was like, I really like that.
So that's the one that came with Keldor, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of my stock. Like when I wanted just a basic Skeletor, it's that head. I kind of feel like that's kind of like the closest we're ever going to get to. How do you say the brilliant artist name? Alcala. The original Skeletor artist that really made me fall in love with the character in the original mini comics.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the closest head we're ever going to get to that look in Origins. I know that Classics had a beautiful sculpt for that purpose, but I think in Origins that's the best one. Yeah. The best one we're going to get. Another personal honorable mention for me for bad is Man-at-Arms, just because, yes, that one. For our listeners only, Bob just held it up. Another personal one for me is Man-at-Arms, just because I don't like the mustache, and they came with the extra head on the Eternian Guards that was supposed to be Man-at-Arms without the mustache. But the sculpt is really bad because it's supposed to have the chin guard in place, and when you take that off, it doesn't translate well. That's another honorable mention. Moving into bad.
As I say, the thing that drives me nuts about Man-at-Arms though is the head wobbles on mine. Drives me nuts. If you can hear it.
Yeah. It's certainly a thing. I think another thing, like for me, that's bad is when we lose the gimmick. Like when
Sorry, Ryan's losing it.
I'm still losing it on that.
Oh.
Just mind went gutter. Oh God, Ryan, go home, go to bed, go to sleep. Stop it. Now I have to find mine and see if mine has a wobble. I don't think mine has a wobble.
Mine doesn't do that.
No, mine doesn't wobble.
No.
Mine are well played with, though.
But how
That's
does yours have
true.
a wobble? Like it only goes left and right. How does yours have a wobble?
Yeah, it's just the there's something wrong with the.
Oh.
You meant your Origins one.
Yeah. The orange.
I was like, the vintage one only goes left or
No.
right. I'm sorry.
No, my vintage one's a squishy head.
Yeah, that's what mine is.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. Sorry, yeah, no. Yeah, I think, just real quick on the Man-at-Arms, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's very weird, seeing him with the mustache in the Filmation version and seeing them without it. So to me, being 42 now, I feel like it's very off. And again, I know it's more that we grew up with the toy not having it, but not seeing it now so much, I really am like, he looks, I don't know, he looks like what I'd look like if I shaved my face. Like I gained about 30, I'd look like 30. Or you'd really be able to see my double chin, and I'd look like
Yeah.
But originally
So
he was supposed to be He-Man's age. They were supposed to be friends, not like dad-son.
Well, just because he has a mustache doesn't mean he's old.
Oh, that means he's a daddy.
He's just,
Ask the internet. He's a daddy.
He's hipster Man-at-Arms.
No, he's a daddy.
That's why Bob said back and forth.
Yeah. Top Gun Maverick. He's a daddy.
There you go.
So I will say with these new figures though, the plastic on the armor I like a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
You're not as worried that it's going to crack and break as you're trying to put it on.
Sure. Absolutely. So again, for me, like the more when you get into worse renditions, for me, it's the loss of the gimmick. So even though I desperately love the battle armor figures, the smaller strike plate and the smaller emblem, I feel like was a mistake. I just don't feel like they translated those well from the original figures into these. I get that it's because of the arms. They want to make sure that the new joints work out, where the vintage toys you had your joint stick out of the chest, and with this the joint goes into the chest. So there is a smaller area for the gimmick, but it doesn't translate as well.
I think that's why I like. That's why I like Thunder Punch. Is it Thunder Punch? Yeah.
Yes.
With the vac metal and the big, H. I'm like that. I'm like, that's like why he's like one of my creme de la creme. Like he looks so good.
Yes. Yeah. Flying Fist translates really well too.
Or is that what you're talking about? Is Flying Fist?
I'm sorry, Flying Fist. Flying Fist. My bad. Yes. Sorry.
I was gonna say because I haven't got the Thunder Punch yet.
No.
So.
Sorry.
Oh,
Flying
no.
Fist.
Thunder Punch, I think, translates really well because, again, you got the big emblem. He looks like he's supposed to. And Flying Fist does, but battle armor just didn't translate
My
well.
head sculpt is just as surprised as you are that his chest is smaller.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it goes to the gimmick. Like, I understand like remove arms, whatever. Like to me that is like the bottom of the barrel. Like I don't want to swap arms with people. Like maybe kids do. I mean, my son doesn't. Like he does. I don't even think he knows the arms come off. Like
No, my kids get mad because sometimes they just pop out on accident.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like, and I think this is a great example. Is like when you look at the Roboto, like you can really see where those pegs are and how far they're in. So if you think about it, if you think about your battle armor, like that's the space he has. But like if you think about it, they didn't do that. Like it'd be definitely way different, I think, and I think it'd give you a better overall experience.
But with the vintage figures, you could swap out arms no problem. I mean, they all had the same peg. They all had the same arm holes. So, I mean, if you wanted to switch out arms, it was easy to do. The only thing you really couldn't switch out on the vintage was the torso. The torso, waist, legs were all connected, but the arms were easy to switch out. with that style.
Well, okay, that being said, yes, you're right. They are easy to switch out.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
I just need to find the arm.
Looking like a stripper.
Yeah.
Bob just held up a Stratos that's missing his right arm.
Yep.
And all he has is the little plastic nub sticking out of his torso. Poor Stratos.
That's what she said.
Yep.
He's had a rough day.
Little plastic nub.
And the wobbly legs.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I replaced the bands on, I think, 3. Oh, man, it was a pain in the ass, I'm going to tell you.
Which process did you use? Because I've seen the ones where you replace the bands themselves, the ones where you insert the eye hooks, and then apparently there's a third version that I haven't ever researched. Which path did you choose?
I had them here.
Yeah, I just have these ones.
Yeah, that's what I have. Bob's showing the little rubber pegs that look like dumbbells. Best way to describe it. The hardest part, it's not hard getting them out. It's kind of hard sometimes to get the little dumbbell part out of the leg because it's it's old and crusty and it breaks apart. But the hard part is, one, you get it in the one leg, and then it's trying to get it through the butt crack, basically, in the waist to get it through, and then you got to pull it taut enough so you can hold it, and then try to hold the leg, stuff the other rubber thing back in there. So I've got a chopstick, like a wood chopstick. I'm like, I think I've done 3 of them, and I'm like, nah, I'm good with wobbly legs. I'll just 3D print stands for it.
Toy Polio? How do you say his name? I know it if I write it out, but saying it out loud, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. He has some phenomenal videos on repairing those that I've watched countless times. But he has a lot of specialized tools, and it looks very complicated to do.
But my Stratos is one that I replaced. This guy, he literally was wobble, they were hanging loose. But I mean, you can see there.
And listeners, he's holding up Cyclone, by the way.
Stratos. I'm thinking Bob's thinking Stratos. Wobbly head, naked men everywhere. Oh my god! It's like I'm at the gay club.
Yeah, and I still haven't done it yet. That's why I got the bands, but I still need to replace this guy's legs because
that's too bad.
Barely hanging on.
Yeah, that's what my Cyclone was like. And
also, he's holding up Too Bad.
And that's what I was about to say. Holding up the original vintage Too Bad with the round chest.
See,
with the round chest.
Round chest and round back.
Negroni Spagliato with Prosecco in it. Excuse me.
But if you don't want to replace the bands, you can find lovely 3D printed stands. They're on Etsy, they're on eBay, wherever. Or if you have a 3D printer, look up Cult 3D. You can print your own. Sorry.
All right, so what's next on your list?
For
Ryan?
me, the worst offenders have to be Rattler and Mechanic because they just completely abandoned the gimmick altogether. They didn't even try. It's just a snap-on extendable neck. Nobody wants to do that because I have broken the pegs on my figures trying to pop their heads off to change them out. And so, I don't want that to happen to these toys. I don't want to break Mechanic trying to extend his neck when as a kid all I had to do was turn his waist. I think to me those are the worst adaptions from vintage to Origins.
And the thing I don't understand, though, is, again, to your point, Ryan, looking at Roboto, there still looked to be enough space in there to get the neck.
Yeah, I have no idea why they chose that path.
Granted, I'm in medicine. I'm not an engineer, so maybe there's something I don't know.
Well, even on those figures, I feel like if you had to lose the arm gimmick of being able to change out the arms, you should have went with old style arms and gave us the proper neck gimmick versus this weird attachment thing that, I mean, I got it. Like on my Mega Constructs figures, it makes perfect sense because they're tiny. You can't put those gimmicks in their bodies. And also they're a lot sturdier. So if you want to pop their heads off and pop more heads on, it's super easy. But with the Origins, for me, I can't imagine. I would love to have an engineer on here explain, this is why we chose to go this route.
So if you are a toy engineer and you know why, please drop us a line on on one of our chats or on Twitter or something, because we really would like to know.
Yeah.
Or if you're from Mattel and you're an engineer and you want to come on and talk about it, we'd love it too.
Oh, we'd love that. Yeah.
Ryan, I'm going to say I agree with you. That's why I had my the Origins Rattler here. But I'm going to say, apart from the neck, I love how Rattler looks. Like, I think his legs and just the body and the overall aesthetics of him, like, it just is.
Oh, he's beautiful. Yeah, beautiful
apart
figure.
From that, yeah, like he's like one of my top.
Wow.
He's probably my top 5.
So another one that we still haven't got yet that I'm not too keen on is the tongue lasher. Like the idea of having to detach and attach the tongue.
That's dumb.
Yeah. And
Tongue
again,
lasher is like my other favorite.
It doesn't take that much room to put this little thing in.
I'm surprised they
again,
didn't give us a head without the tongue and a head with the tongue out and just make us pop the heads off and on to switch it out.
Oh no, that's too much plastic. It's just a little tongue with a little hole in it. That's super easy.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
So what are your all's thoughts on bad updates? Which ones do you all feel like didn't make the mark?
My first one is this is going to be maybe controversial, maybe not, but the first He-Man that came out, because we were all excited to finally see He-Man, and then we saw him.
Face.
Yeah,
I
face.
love that head sculpt.
Yeah, but
Really?
I love it.
yeah.
No, you don't. You're joking.
I swear, if I went and got my Battle Armor Origins He-Man right now and brought him in here, he has that head on him.
Really?
Swear.
Yeah, the only one that's worse than this is the one that came on the Battle Armor.
Now, yeah, I'm not a fan of the half scream, yell, whatever that face is.
But the
hair on the hair on that sculpt, I prefer his face. I don't know what's like where they couldn't use the original vintage sculpt. There's just something off about how they've tried to redo it. Like the eyes are too squinty or something. It looks a little off. But I love that head sculpt.
I love
the eyes look so squinty to me.
I think it's the paint job.
It's like he's staring into the sun.
And
the eyes on the vintage are that squinty?
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're really not.
Not completely. They're and again, it's because they got the little line that's going just a little past.
Yeah, he's got like a little bit of a cat's eye. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like when you look at the vintage mini comics, like the first ones that came out, that instead of having comic panels, they were illustrated. His hair touches his shoulders, all that stuff. Like he looks more barbarian, and I prefer that head because I think it makes him look more like Conan than the Page Boy cut that they used in the original.
Yeah, no, I don't mind the hair. I just hate the face.
Yeah.
But,
agree to disagree, man.
But that being said, that's the one my kids prefer.
I like it better.
So the other one that I like the gimmick. I hate the arms. Is oh god, no, I'm having a brain fart. My brain can't work. This guy,
Leech.
What can I think? Leech. God,
Leech got so skinny.
But the thing that I don't like though is I move the arm and it pops right off.
Yeah, but vintage Leech is thick. He's a thick boy.
But again, I for the life of me, I can't keep these damn arms in here.
Yeah.
The other day, I came in the living room and there was an arm on the window, and Leech was on the floor.
Yeah.
Like my arms are. This is the origins. Like he's.
Yeah. And
maybe I actually prefer the head that Ryan has on right now. The monster face, not the suction cup face.
Well,
for those who are listening.
We keep the suction face one on because my kids like to stick it to the windows.
Yeah, but man, that vintage Leech, he would stay stuck to windows for weeks.
Yeah.
Like he would just hold on forever. And this new one doesn't do that great.
Well, because
look at him. thick
Because the
boy.
vintage has the hole and it sucks
Yeah.
the air out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how thick he is.
My son loves to stick him to his forehead.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Of course.
It's gonna come out with a hickey from his
That's
leash.
exactly what you're supposed to do with him.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at him, like this
Yeah.
he has super broad shoulders. This is the
Mhm.
vintage one, and then this is the Origins one.
Yeah,
So,
he's like keto leech. He's been carb free.
roids, not roids.
Right.
The other controversial one that I'm going to show, people may or may not agree with, and some of it is because you got to remember, my kids play with these, so
As they should.
as they should, yeah. So one of my all-time favorites as a kid is
Grizzlor.
unfortunately this one, the new one, is losing his hair.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like literally, I pulled him out, and here's hair.
He should have come with some Rogaine.
Yeah, I can't get him to focus.
Oh, also,
Yeah, I mean-
new snout spout is trash. I forgot.
I disagree on that one.
Trash.
I was wary of the gimmick, but I actually like the gimmick. And unfortunately, the water portion I left upstairs. But I do like the new one. I mean, I still have my original one, and yes, it still works. But it was a pain filling these things up.
Really?
Well, it's more annoying than anything else. But the newer one is easier to fill up, and you can it holds more water.
Oh,
So it actually squirts a little bit better than having to just push the button on the back.
I don't know.
But the other nice part from a parent perspective is I could take the fucking head off, and then my kids aren't trying to drink up all the water and spray everything in the house.
it's probably nostalgia
So
with me on
Yeah.
that one.
But I think everything else is pretty spot on. I mean, the boots are even a little cooler than the original. They're a little bit more swashbuckling.
I mean, by the time we got to that wave in vintage, I was just like, oh, we're in crazy town. A firefighter and a cowboy, and we're just crazy. Like we've just
Rio Blast.
Yeah,
Everybody
we've
loves
just-
Rio
we've
Blast.
everyone loves Rio Blast. I had no clue when I opened Pandora's box on Twitter, and I was like, "What's up with
Yeah.
this weirdo?" And like my mentions just blew up, and people are like, "That's my favorite figure. I love that guy. He's the best one." And I'm like, "What is happening? It's a cowboy in Eternia full of guns. Why?" And
Because
people are just love him.
Because a lot of us are Americans and we love guns. Come on.
I believe it. I believe it. And I'm like, so is he a cyborg? Is he an android? And people are like, no, he's a cyborg full of guns and he's awesome and he's amazing. And I'm like, okay, got it. Sorry.
He's a gunman at heart.
Yeah,
It comes straight out of his chest.
Sorry. Did not realize.
That being said, though, one of the figures that I don't like from vintage is one of your favorites.
Which one?
And that is one of the other gimmicky ones, which is Extendor.
Oh.
And I never had him as a kid, so maybe that's
why.
partially
You had a
why.
horrible childhood. That's
But
it.
it's
Your
a
parents didn't
stupid.
love you. That makes sense
It's a-
now.
It's a stupid gimmick, and his face looks weird when he goes up.
What do you mean it's a stupid gimmick?
Well, what can you do with him? Come on. It's
What,
like,
did you okay? I'll share the mini comic with you.
if they need to-
Clearly, when
if
he
they need to see far
extends-
away,
no, when he extends, he gets as strong as He-Man.
Yeah.
It's clearly established in the mini comic why he does that.
I was going to say, because if they need to see far away, they already have Mechanite.
He traded
Same.
his body to Hordak for power, and when he
Yeah.
extends, he's as strong as He-Man.
But
He's the mightiest person in the world.
again, that being said, I love all the toys. I even like Gwildor. I don't have my original Gwildor, but all I have left of Gwildor is
And
This
that's
little
too
guy
much,
here.
because that's
Yeah.
the dumbest invention in Eternia.
well. And to be fair, this is not a good toy version of it. The one that's coming out on the new Master vs. Skeletor movie version is fantastic. But
I think, Bob, unfortunately, you have been voted off the island.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had the ability right now, I would just superimpose Gwildor eating fried chicken over your camera, Bob.
that being said, I thought he was stupider than hell when I was a kid, but I still got the figure. I still played with it. And he's grown on me the more I've read him in the comics, because he was in the comic strips a lot more. So there's a lot more character development.
Like
in the
gangrene,
strips.
he's grown on you like gangrene. A flesh-eating virus. It's the only. That is the 0.01% of Motu that's horrible. Is Gwildor.
Yeah.
Terrible.
What about you, Ryan? Though, what do you think?
About Gwildor? Yeah, no, he sucks.
No. What do you think of the bad ones?
So bad ones, and again, apologize everybody. I keep all of my stuff in plastic baggies so that way I don't lose all my shit.
For those listening on podcast apps, Ryan is doing origami while we talk.
I am.
Yes.
ASMR Motu. So from vintage to classic or to origins, if I had to pick, this is probably the worst one. Mantenna.
What?
You're talking the vintage worst one. Okay.
The vintage, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the vintage one is, I mean, you know, the buggy eye is great, but the new one is perfect. Like, you get the 4 legs, it's like Modulok a little bit. You get the awesome eyes, which definitely work way better, and they're very spring loaded, so they go back in.
Yeah, but my only complaint about that is I always thought it was cool when you could leave them out. And you can't
that is
leave
true.
them out now.
That
being said, I agree though. I mean, even the details on the back, just all of it, it's just great.
Yeah.
He is my number one from worst to best.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of all the Origins figures we've gotten, none have gotten as good of a redo as he.
I don't know. I have a close tie
with. He is my second because he kept his gimmick. He looks great, and we got that other really cool head option.
Yeah, because and again, to the people listening, I'm holding up Randman.
Yeah,
because I have both my vintage one and the new one, and I played with the vintage one. Like, what the hell are you doing, Ryan? Oh, okay, that's the clicking noise. Okay, gotcha. And it's the hardest part with the vintage one too is trying to hit that button to get him to spring.
Oh, see, mine was not a problem as a kid.
Well, okay, maybe I'm thinking of it as an adult with my fat fingers now. But
well, fair.
I had fat stubby fingers as a kid too.
Fair.
I actually don't have Brandman as vintage, and I never had him growing up.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I actually had the little thing on his boot. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
But again, having the different head options is great. Just his arm movability and even having knees is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
Because this is one of my kids' favorites. Granted, they love the vintage one too.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. I don't like him. I like him angrier. I don't like him dumber. That 2000X made him stupid, and I wish he were a little less dumb and a little more angry, a little hot headed.
I liked his design on the 2000X.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, I agree. I didn't like how they portrayed him.
Yeah,
that's the one downfall to that show. Otherwise, perfect show.
No, there's one that's worse, and that's that Cringer doesn't talk.
But yeah, okay.
But I loved in the mini comic how hot headed Ram-Man was, and that's how Skeletor maximized his manipulation. Is Ram-Man was just like didn't really put a lot of thought into stuff, not because he was stupid, just because he didn't have any patience. Hence the Ram-Man. He's strong headed. Like it's pretty on the nose.
And I think they misread that when they were making the new shows. Was they took that him being easily manipulated as being stupid,
right,
and not the hot-headed.
Yes.
Yeah. I do have to say, I know we're not talking this, but his classics version, which he is right there, is perfect. Like he's like one of my top ones in classics, definitely.
Well, I don't have classics money, so I've never seen him.
Hey, dude, I lucked out on that one. I got that one for $30. Like out of
Nice.
package, didn't have package, but like that same figure at the same store in package is $600. And I'm like, dude, I'm paying $30 for him. So.
If anyone wants to know how Ryan got that discount, you have to DM him.
No, the guy who runs that shop, no. I'm not that kind of girl, guys.
Ryan maybe delivered a package for him, or
No.
No. He also had the wobbly head.
took out a hit.
It's funny. I pulled out the He-Man with the we were talking earlier with the head that Ryan likes, and that one's super wobbly. So I have a wobbly He-Man.
Yep.
So,
You all
before
need to stop smashing your figures together. That's what
so I
I
popped
do.
his
Is
head
just,
off, and I noticed that it's not actually the joint inside the head. It's actually the head, and it's like half of the ball joint in the head is like missing, so it doesn't make full contact. So that's what I noticed on mine.
I do know a fix for him. I just haven't done it to all mine, though. But I put a little bit of plumber's tape around there. Helped grip a little bit more and gave a little bit more body to the nub.
Oh, that's a good
to
idea.
the peg. Yeah.
Since Ryan has moved us on to good iterations, I also want to throw out Orko, who I think is another fantastic update. The floating Orko, the orange hat, all those things I think are a vast improvement over the vintage figure. Massive improvement.
Yep. Love the Orko.
Yeah.
The
He doesn't do
arms.
that weird like top spinny like.
Yeah, he lost his gimmick, but I feel like we made up for it with the purple cloud that he floats over. I feel like that more than makes up for the loss of his top spinniness.
100%.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of the spinniness part of it either. Anyways.
No, I never used that.
Yeah.
Well, then his little magic trick he came with too. Like, who kept us around walking?
No.
Not loose.
No.
But again, he did look spot on for those who could actually find him.
No, right? Yeah.
And actually, want those who could find him with his head on correctly, because I went through 3 of them before I got one that his hat matches his eyes.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. It's been so long.
The first one I got, his hat went one direction and his eyes went in another direction, and he looked like Cousin Dudley. Like he looked so terrible.
That's a
So your-
good
Yeah,
one, okay.
yours is a great one. Yeah,
your eyes
those
are
are good. Mine was like he was looking off to the right and his hat was looking off to the left.
Really?
It was really bad. Yeah, so bad that Motu, that Masters of the Universe Mattel, sent me a check. They were like, "We're sorry. Here's a check. Go buy another figure."
So you have
You
had
could never find it.
you've had bad luck with paint jobs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm on my second Manny faces, and my Jitsu's messed up, and I've had tons of paint problems.
But again, for me, the kind of worst, like, I'm kind of jumping all over the place because I never can stick to the same topic at once. I don't particularly like Whiplash in vintage. I don't know. I think it's this weird, like, his tail is, like, I don't know. It feels
I
gross.
prefer that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because when I was a kid and I would like bend him, it would actually like whip and knock over the other action figures. The new one being very stiff makes it easier to make him stand up, but the whip action isn't really there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I guess for me, as an adult, so I'm coming at this maybe from an adult collector perspective. Like you say, having the more, and again, for those who are watching, I have the Origins here. It's the more sculpted tail, so it gives it like the little stand. But I think even like the face, like, I don't know, like if looking at his face, so if you look at like his chin here, it's like, it's pretty protruded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then if you look at like the wrong way. If you look at the Origins, I mean, it's still big, but to me, it doesn't stick out as far.
Yeah.
So when you look at them straight on, like I definitely just face wise really prefer the Origins one. So while that is not a big upgrade, when I got him in the mail, I was like, "Oh God, I actually kind of like this figure now." I'm like, "This is weird," you know. So yeah, I think that's the thing. But again, I think to your point, Rhino, is with the vintage and having the snap waist, that is good. With the more flimsy tail, but with the Origins and not having that, it doesn't make. And I'm dropping his weapon. Doesn't really make sense that it would, you know. So
yeah,
I see your point, but I think for the way the non-springy waist, I think that gives him a good one. But yeah, you know, and again, it's just there are just so many different variations between everything. You know, everything from like you know Clawful and Triclops, like in the vintage, like they're great figures. But then like it's just seeing them for me, while like. Vintage will always hold a place in my heart. Like you know,
of
I'll
course,
never own everything. But like seeing the Origins, like again, there's some that are just horrible, and I'm like, you know, whatever. But like 95% of them, I'm like, yeah, these are good. I really enjoy them. Again, you know, so you know, I think my other one is Roboto, and again, we showed him just a little bit ago the insides of him, but you know, I think this one's kind of got really crappy legs. This is my vintage one here. I mean, I like him, and he's cool, and, you know, mine's got the gimmick with the mouth, and his innards move, and his mouth up and down. But I think what I love about, you know, so if you look at him here on screen here, you know, you see his arms, but I really like what they did on the Origins, and just the level of detail that they put in the arms.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I mean, it's just such a step above.
Well, and even the face, putting that extra little, like, I don't know, downward lip to the to his, I don't know what you want to call it, mandible or jaw or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the contour is just a little bit different. It just gives him a little bit more of an actual face look.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't look like in the vintage. He looks like to me, it's very straight across. It looks like a duck bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you look at the the Origin one, it's kind of down, and it looks like I don't know. Best way to describe it's like a bulldozer in a way, you know.
The other thing I liked about the new one though is I liked the waist. I know this sounds weird, but I always felt like this looked like a diaper.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's so high.
Because it depends.
Oh yeah.
And again, for those listening, I'm showing the vintage figure, and it's a little bit more high waisted, more.
It's a big blue Depends diaper.
Yeah, basically,
it really is.
So one thing we haven't addressed yet, and I want to get your all thoughts on, what do we think to the update to the ladies? Teela, Evelyn, Sorceress, She-Ra. What do y'all think about the ladies?
Yeah.
The Evelyn, I don't know. I don't like that one. You know, in the Origins one, like, I mean, I don't know.
I love She-Ra though.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't like the super thin sheer stuff, like kind of like her skirt part. That's the only thing I don't like about her.
I will say again, my kids play with these, and yes, it's a little ratty, but it's not bad.
Right.
And, and this is like Emmett's favorite figure, so he has played with this like freaking crazy.
Oh, nice.
My biggest problem with the ladies is their ankles are so weak because they're so small. Mine fall over all the time. And I have a harder time keeping the ladies' arms in their sockets. Teal and Evelyn, when I'm trying to put them in their battle poses to take pictures and stuff, their arms pop out of the socket all the time. And then of course there was Knee Gate from the Origin, where like they had the horrible knees and Mattel was like, "We're so sorry, we got new knees coming." Yeah.
Yeah. Original knee.
Yeah.
Here's
updated knees. Yep.
Yeah.
And again,
focus.
I love the Green Goddess figure though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because at least it gave us more of a look from the mini comics.
Yeah.
but I don't know. I still like them. Yeah, it's a little bit harder because some of the joints are a little bit more loose, especially in the feet and stuff. So, like you said, it's a little harder to stand.
See,
but
that's funny. I don't have knee ankle issues with mine at all. They're really stiff.
Oh, mine.
Some are stiff, some aren't.
Yeah, my Shira. I even have her on like one of those little clear stands that has the peg that goes up in her foot to try to help her stand, and she falls all the time.
Really?
All the time.
Huh. Yeah, I think the only thing I don't like, again, it's not just an Origins thing, is, we're looking at the Green Goddess here, like, she's very leggy, like, I feel like the waist, the torso is a little short. I don't know. We're talking centimeters here,
but wasn't it like that though with the vintage though? Because I lost my Tila along the way, but I did have her as a kid, and I felt like it was
100%. They look exactly the same. It's just sitting here and you look at just how leg busty she is. It's like super thick. I mean, again, she's a warrior. I get it. She's gonna have beefier thighs, but just in my mind, that's like. Let's make him a little more feminine. That's just me, though. Yeah.
Does anyone else miss the sorceress's gimmick of pressing the bottom of her tail and her wings flapping out?
I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I like her. I like her in the gray skull, the white one. Yeah, there you go. Mine's in the back here. Yeah, I really like that, and she reminds me of Silverhawks when I see that. I always think of Silverhawks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it's a little bit easier to play with for my kids.
Yeah. Without
having the gimmick.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we have to give another shout out to Trapjaw. I think he translated from vintage figure to Origins really well. I love the look of the eyes, the face, the jaw.
I love the color change, though.
Yeah,
it's
colors.
It's just a little brighter.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, though, is I like the face on this, but there's just a little bit more definition on the sculpt on the original.
It's the eyes. His eyes are so much smaller on vintage. On Origins, they painted his entire eye black.
And they painted the eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just that little bit. But again, that's just nitpicking. Really, I love the new one.
Yeah, I think he turned out great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then so many figures stayed the same.
Well, and I gotta do this one. Ryan will like this one, but the one that I think that they were most spot on with is.
Yeah.
Yep.
He looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, Fisto.
Yeah.
Fisto is, the coloration's a little bit different on the hair. It's a little bit more of a red shade. But aside from that, I mean, it's freaking spot on. I was really tempted to just switch out the fists. I mean, they're pretty freaking similar. Because originally I either lost the fist or never had the fist on my vintage one, and I had to find it. I had to buy one.
I saw somebody paint. They went and bought silver metallic car paint, and they painted it silver. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go do that because it just set it above. Because I've got Fista's one of my top. They're my top ones, and I wish they would. I wish they did in Masterverse make one of the vintage or the Origins that is a metal fist. That would be
that would be nice.
So the only big difference I can tell are just the bracers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But again, that's just a minor detail, and I kind of like the new one.
Mm-hmm.
So many figures, though, stayed exactly the same. Beastman, Merman, those didn't change at all.
Another great one, though, is,
So, I never had him, so I can't, I don't really feel fair comparing.
I never had him either, but this is just a fantastic figure. I mean, it goes well. It holds up well. Yeah, the cape's plastic, but
I like the plastic.
It still looks good. I like it.
But I like it I like it on Randor. I like it on him. I like it on Hordak. I like the plastic cape.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say my favorite update that they've done has got to be Battle Cat.
Oh, with all the articulation?
Yeah, the
Oh, of
articulation,
course.
the playability with it is just
Yes.
freaking great.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't even gotten into vehicle/mounts yet. Is there
He is a
bad...
character. He is a character.
He is. He is.
He
As
talks.
Sure.
If you're not 2000X.
Is there a bad update on the vehicles? Is there a bad vehicle update? Because I don't think there is.
I don't know because I don't have Road Ripper yet.
Well, okay, of the ones that you own, is there a bad update?
No.
I think
I
they've
mean-
all been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Besides the weird cage on the Roton, and that's not an update. I mean, that you can take off. That's my only. I don't like that.
But it's bigger, it's shinier, it's more detailed. The cage,
100%.
the cage is an homage to the model kit, so I hope we get the cage also on Attack Track when it comes out, because the Attack Track model also had the cage. So
One thing I could say would be the Sky Sled or whatever, just because we don't have the full.
yeah, but even the Sky Sled, like
but it's still great.
the
And that's just
changeable
nitpicky.
heads, the energy blast, like I just don't feel like there's been a bad vehicle.
Yeah.
Strador.
And again, my kids play with that stuff like freaking crazy, and it holds up really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the plastic's pretty durable.
Yeah, the Land Shark is really good. Logan, my son, plays with that. Literally,
Yeah.
He's into Power Rangers now. So he switched from
Mhm.
He-Man like a week ago to Power Rangers because
He'll be back.
I watched one episode this week,
Yeah.
Him and
but he's like,
Emmett can talk.
Yeah. He'll
but
be
like
back.
the shark is just eating Power Rangers, and it's like,
Mhm.
I'm like, and I'm like, I'm not worried about it. It's
Yep.
gonna hold up, most definitely.
Wind Raider. Oh God, the new Wind
Oh
Raider.
yeah.
Perfect.
hmm
Just
And
I think the
having the-
vehicles are phenomenal.
Having it be able to mount to the castle
Yes.
is great.
Okay, so now is my controversial statement. I think the vintage castle is better than the Origins castle.
I think that's more nostalgia than anything else.
No.
What is it that's better on the vintage than the Origins?
I like the color choices better. I like the bigger stickers better.
Mm.
I like the bigger trapdoor better. I just think that I was really disappointed when the Origins Castle came out because I wished incorrectly, and I wished that it was a merger of Classics and Origins, which is what they're doing with Snake Mountain. You know, we've seen the Snake Mountain prototype, and they've taken a lot of elements from the classic Snake Mountain and put it into the Origin Snake Mountain, which is what I thought they were going to do with Grayskull. But like, if you look at that little tiny trapdoor sticker beside the drawbridge entrance, the weapons rack isn't as better. I just feel like it's not as good of a castle.
I think the material overall is better. It's not that thin vacuum,
it's better,
form.
a lot better plastic.
Yeah, and I think that has to be with durability over the years. But I
had to buy a second piece to get the space armor set.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest beefs too. Is I didn't have that sticker on there. And that being said, I'm not disagreeing with you because I love the vintage one too. But I do really like the new one too. I even like this. The sculpt's a little bit different. It's a little bit more symmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my kids like that a little bit more.
Sure, I'm just saying, not that the new one's bad, but I think the old one's better.
So I don't remember if you guys saw the picture, but we bought the 2020X Grayskull.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Logan loves it.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so he's been playing with that nonsense. Well, since this weekend because Power Rangers is this weekend, but all last week he played with it. Like he comes home, he's like, I thought about it all day at school.
I'm still saving that one for a birthday or something.
Yeah, I told Logan his birthday. He's a Christmas baby, and I told him, I was like, "So this is your birthday present from Papa and Daddy. It's 50% yours, 50% mine."
I mean, it's the first castle we've had that actually has a working jawbridge.
Yep.
Yes, he was so it came down and then it popped out, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, it's scary."
Yeah, and it has so many great electronic features.
Oh,
Thing is-
yes.
And it works for both the vintage Origins and the 2020X/CGI figures.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
and
it's a very faithful adaptation of the show.
And I will say, out of all my kids' toys, sorry, I'm digging through here trying to grab it. Because you brought it up, for my kids, they don't give a crap about this guy. They like this Prince Adam.
Yes,
And
for sure.
again, I think from the perspective of I like having the skinnier Adam.
Yes.
Yeah,
And just so everyone, he is showing Origins Prince Adam and the 2020X Prince Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Logan has it, and I keep trying to steal it from him.
Yeah.
I want it in my collection, and I'm just probably gonna have to buy my own.
Yeah, and again, I love how you can put the sword on the back.
oh, for
I
sure.
don't know, it's just cool.
The
Yeah.
Masterverse 2020X He-Man and Skeletor are some of the best figures I own. They're just
Yeah.
the sculpts are unbelievable. They're beautiful. They pose fantastically. They look
The
so great
Masterverse or
fighting
the
each other.
Origins?
The Masterverse 2020X He-Man and Skeletor.
Oh yes. They are.
They
Those are
Right.
awesome.
do
There you
so
go, I see
well.
it, but they're there. Yeah, they are. Logan, we got Skeletor on Black Friday, Amazon. It was like $11, and then I had $5 credits, so I got it for $7.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, no, those are again 2022X is not my favorite. Those are some amazing figures. They did creme de la creme of those ones for sure.
Of the non in our hand stuff that's coming out, what do you all feel like is a good vintage to Origins update, or is a bad vintage to Origins update for the stuff we haven't played with? Just going off pictures alone,
I mean, we've already talked about, one of my favorites, Mechanic.
for sure.
But the other one is one of the ones that I played with all the time as a kid is King Hiss. I don't
like the new King
one.
Hiss.
No. That being said, since we were talking about the 2020X, I do like their updated version for 2020X that's going to be coming out.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that
he's
thing
a
looks
monster.
badass.
Yeah, he looks great. I don't, and again, I don't understand why they got rid of the gimmick for Origins. Like, as many of you know, I'm terrified of Danger Noodles. So the thought of a man being composed entirely of snakes is terrifying to me. And so that even when I was a kid, that figure, I was like, I had it, but I was like, he never had his shell off, because I was just like, he's the leader, he's in charge, please don't let this fall off. I don't understand why they got rid of that for the weird, especially the head, because the neck's really thick, and it's got that thick ring that attaches to the body. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I don't get it. And I know they're trying to keep with the arm motif and everything, but I really don't like it.
Yeah, it's a weird.
I feel like you can do away with some of it.
Weird update for me. Really
yeah, but
weird.
I mean, again, even though the vintage, though, like trying to get those arms, like his normal arms, like into the class.
Oh, it sucked.
Like, that was hard.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, it was
No,
hard.
I was-
That's why I never
Yeah, I
took it
hated
off,
putting a shell on.
and it was terrifying.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else is coming out that we've seen.
I
I
do
think
like
everything else looks
Road
pretty
Ripper
good.
being a pull back and release toy. I think that's much
Yeah.
better than the pull string. Even though we were all like nostalgia wanted the pull cord, I do think just pull back and release is better.
Yeah, I mean, finding out that it still has that yeah, I'm excited for that part.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks good.
Yeah, and it's one less thing that I have to worry about losing when my kids are playing with it.
Right.
We did Beyblades, and they had those little ripcords, and if you think I could find a single one of those,
things get chewed on, things get lost.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, I mean, King is again. Yeah, it's a little weird. It looks like he's got like you said, the collar of snakes around him, so it is a little weird. But I think overall, again, non-popular opinion, I prefer the Origins from what I can see that over the Vintage. That's just me. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most. That's just me.
Is there any Origins figures that don't have a Vintage counterpart that you all think are either really good or really bad? Example being Snake Armor He-Man. Like, there's no Vintage version of that. So, any figures like that you all think they either really dropped the ball on or knocked it out of the park?
I don't know. Do you think he's bad, Snake Armor He-Man? Because I don't have any of those because I ordered them from GameStop. And GameStop doesn't even give them to me.
I think he's phenomenal. I love the head sculpt. I love the look of the armor. It allows me to. I have a weird thing with incorporating different proportion figures together for playtime. Like, it's hard for me to grab 2000X He-Man and have him battle Origins Skeletor because I'm like, these two things look so weird together. But having like the 2000X characters in that Origins format, I really appreciate. So I think he's phenomenal. But I didn't know if there was any that you all were like, oh, this one is terrible. He didn't exist in Vintage and he shouldn't exist now because he's so bad.
So, see, I'm flip-flop with you. So, like, I wish they would do the 2000X as Masterverse. I think they would do it justice. Seeing it as an Origins makes me think of Vintage, and it's like, again, it wasn't in Vintage. I have both of them up here. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the 2000X Origins Snake Armor looks really good, but I'm like, if I had to pick, I would go with the 2000X version of the Snake Armor just for aesthetics, and just that's what I associate with it.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, but again, like, I've got him sitting right over here. Like, the 2000X Skeletor, like, to me, first of all, mine has super, super janky, like, right eye. Like, it's super bad. But, like, I don't, like, to me, I'd see that, and I'm like, I don't associate that at all with 2000X. At all. I look at 2000X Skeletor's, staff. Like, they are two very completely different staffs, So,
yeah.
But again, it's cool because, again, if they aren't going to do 2000X in Masterverse, then at least we are getting them in some capacity, because they do. Like, the sword, while his sword isn't two separate pieces like it is in the 2000X one, it's nice to have a piece because I could never get those things to stick together. That's to hold just one of them. But the 2000X He-Man sword is one of my favorite swords. And
it is my favorite sword.
Yeah, having it as an Origins figure. I wish it did. It doesn't do the spinny thing though, like the 2000X.
And it's so short and squatty. It's so little. It's like the original one was like a bit longer, and this one's like real short and stubby.
The problem with the 2000X one though is, like, over the years, all of mine are like this.
Yeah,
they're all curved. So I'm like, hot water, eyes, hot water.
Yes.
That happens to a lot of men of your age.
I know, right?
Ooh, okay.
That's not what the comic shop said, where I got Ram Man for $30.
See, listeners, now it's coming out.
Yeah. No, but one of the ones that there was no Vintage for, that I think that they hit out of the park, though, is the Anti-Eternia He-Man, though. I mean, the sculpt's great. Yeah, he's spray painted black and red and stuff, but it's a good paint job.
Okay, that's fair. That's true.
It looks good.
That's true.
I'd be surprised if it's a paint job and if it's not just black plastic.
Yeah, it's probably black plastic, but
but just grab it exactly and just cut some off.
But even the red though is still it's good.
Yeah,
it's on there good. Yeah. And my kids do love this. Because Emmett loves all the evil guys and stuff, and he really wanted a He-Man, so he got an evil He-Man.
Why do kids love evil people? Like, Logan's always like, oh, I love the bad guys. I'm like, the bad guys lose all the time. Don't play the bad guys, play the good guys.
And then
But the
one
bad
of the
guys
ones
get
that
to do whatever they want. They get to break the rules, and they get to stay up past bedtime and tell their dads that they stink.
Uh-huh.
one of the ones that I was really excited for that I wasn't too happy with though is the Spaceman.
You didn't like that one?
Mine's just a little too loose, and we have a hard time getting in the stands. I mean,
Why are
my
all
guy's
your
head
toys
comes
too
up really
loose?
I don't know, and
What
it
is
came that
happening
way.
to these toys?
It came this way, so it's not even my kids doing it. Because again, I was super excited for this one, and my kids are like, meh.
Did you all have any of the Sunman toys as a kid? Did those translate
No.
well? I
wish-
hate to not mention that whole line because
I wish I did, but I do think
You
the
know?
new ones are great. And again, yes, my youngest Emmett loves all the evil ones, and he loves all the Sunman ones. He loves Sunman.
Yeah, I think it's a great toy. I wish I had a personal connection to it. I remember it, but I didn't have it. So I just don't have that basis of comparison of like, oh man, they really killed it on this, or oh, they messed up Pighead. Like, I just don't know.
Sorry for those listening. I just held up Zodak without a head.
The heroic warrior of Zodak.
Um,
But Sunman related, that Masterverse Sunman.
Woo!
And this one, I can't remember this guy, Digitano. Is that his name?
Love of the curly Q.
Yeah, this thing freaking glows in the dark like no other. Oh my
Right.
god!
Yeah. I come into my office and it's like, boo! I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you're like in the back corner. How are you glowing?
I don't have him yet. I need to get him, Boltman, and Space Sumo.
Oh yeah.
Didn't you get the 3-pack?
I did. I just got it the other day. Target had it on sale for $35. I haven't cracked it open yet, but I love Sunman's flat top.
Yeah,
but
and that's
I think
Space
it's
is
really
similar.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
What-
he was a
Are you
special
going to
version.
order Digitano?
If I can find him on like an Amazon deal,
Well-
I would love to order Digitano and Boltman on an Amazon deal.
And the reason I say that is because part of my pre-order or whatever to GameStop that I haven't gotten yet has him.
Oh,
So I can
Me
always
too.
send it to you
nice.
because I still don't have Randor, and it's driving me nuts.
And apparently Boltman can heal, which no master figures ever had. So I think that's pretty cool. That he can
I don't have him yet
regenerate
because
healing.
yeah. I'm trying to think what else. The other ones that I really enjoyed, but I think I like, but also is also goofy, is the 2-pack, which we all died trying to find the Keldor
And now you can
Cronus.
build a house out of them. There's so
Yeah.
many of them. You could build a house out of them.
and I love and hate the head sculpt on Cronus.
Yeah, I'm not
But-
a fan.
But my kids love
But that Keldor, though,
Keldor. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he
he
looks
is pretty
good.
My kids keep that head on there. They love.
He
Keldor.
looks so good. Shake that figure.
Is it loose too?
No,
Oh, I
okay.
thought it
saw
was for a
loose.
second. I was like,
no, I was just moving them. It's just if you bump
Oh.
the cape, it moves the head.
okay.
He's got kids, to be fair.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
got 2 kids that play probably. I believe in them. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think, yeah. But hey,
And-
Digitano's on Amazon for $16.
Oh.
Yeah, I want him to drop to like 11.
But again, with a 2-pack, you could switch out the head on Keldor and make a sweet Skeletor.
So I had somebody in my Twitter feed post like directions on how to make. Again, I wish I could say it. It's like ALCALA is the artist's name. They were like,
Mhm.
here's how to make the perfect version of him in Origins. And like I bought like 2 Skeletors and like pieced it all together and made him, and it looks so good. It's like that chest piece, but the body of a different one and the arms from a different one. and feet from web store. So I had to buy a second web store to rip his feet off, and it's a whole thing. But it makes a perfect figure.
One gimmick that they better still keep, though, eventually when we do get them, is the squirtability of the Dragon Blast.
I can promise you 1,000% I am not getting a squirting Dragon Blast Skeletor, because my Mega Construct Snake Mountain, Bob, you should put yours together, comes with the dragon that you put on his back, and then that stupid jet stream that you stick in its mouth like Cobra Khan has.
You mean this thing?
I promise you it will be a little attachment like that that goes in the dragon's mouth.
Well, but again, you can't
squirt
do
water.
You can't do the squirtability with this because they're too damn small.
True, but Mattel's going to be like,
but
squirting water,
you're right.
that costs money. Stick some plastic in it.
But they did it for Sound Sprout. Like, it's just a backpack. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want a dragon backpack. That would be horrible.
A little rubber dragon that you squeeze.
Oh, little super thin silicone that you squeezed. Oh, that would be awful.
And then I could take out a dog squeaker and put it inside.
Oh, that would be terrible. No.
Oh, that's funny.
No.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Bob, show your Dragon Blaster Skeletor Mega Constructs again.
Yeah.
So you also could not get the chains to work. Good. I don't feel as bad.
Chains. I haven't got to them yet. Probably.
Listeners, Bob has had the Snake Mountain longer than I have, and is like 1/10 of the way through putting it together.
Yeah, I just got the two pieces to snap together.
And it didn't fall apart like somebody else who put theirs together.
Oh yeah, it did. It was awful. Like I was like. And like pieces flew across the room, and it was terrible.
I just have to get it done by May, and I'll be working really hard in May, but I'll get it done.
What happened in
May? Why May?
Oh, Emmett's Skeletor birthday party that he's been planning for the last 2 years.
Oh,
because Aiden had the He-Man birthday party when he turned 4, and now Emmett wants Skeletor party when he turns 4.
Are you going to get him the Terror Claws Skeletor tube tank to wear?
If the weather's nice, maybe I'll make it for him.
Nice. Can we all agree that's the worst Skeletor? Is tube tank Skeletor?
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say
there's no Skeletor as bad as tube tank Skeletor.
And I've never been a big fan of the Terror Claws either, but that's just me. To me, they look like little fetish ticklers.
The Terror Claws, if you take the Terror Claws and put them on the original Skeletor figure, they look pretty cool. And if you notice, like in like the mini comic, they never showed him in the tube tank. The tube top, I mean. They just put the claws on his normal suit. And that looks okay. But yeah, I don't understand the midriff Skeletor at all.
No, I can't stand it. That being said, my Flying Fists, He-Man was always awesome. I always loved that one.
Yeah.
Except for that giraffe neck. I don't know what that giraffe neck is.
Yeah, the giraffe neck was a little much, but he's
trying to keep the head in place a little, or for it to move.
Yeah, but now they fixed that on Origins, so I guess we should shout out that that's a better update. Flying Fist Origins He-Man doesn't have that weird neck problem.
Yeah, and his vacuum metal,
it's
just spot on. It's top tier for me.
And Classics Flying Fist He-Man is beautiful, just beautiful. Yeah, I would love to have it. Oh, the top suit part. I don't know. It has like a gladiator armor look to it. Like it's fantastic. Flying Fists.
Hold on, I have him. Let me go get him.
Classics He-Man, so good. And he's got the red bracers, so it looks incredible.
And for those people still listening, I think I'm coming up with an idea of one of these episodes. It's just going to be us playing with our toys.
Yeah. Look at that! Oh my God! Look at that figure. Oh,
yeah, but I wish it was
beautiful.
For me.
Yeah, I wish it was vacuum metal.
Yeah, that's why I think I don't like it. But yeah,
we can't cover everything in glitter, Ryan.
So again,
some things just need to look like metal.
Nice. To sum everything up, though, we really appreciate all the new toys that have come out. There have been both positive and negatives with some of the things, but again, we are still buying them. We still love them. It's bringing in new generations like my kids and, like Ryan's kids.
Yep. I only have one.
Yeah. Sorry, kid.
Don't need more. I'm a big enough kid for her too.
I mean, you literally just said only half of this present is yours.
Yeah.
So,
to
be fair, it is kids.
And if anyone from Mattel is listening, get rid of the arms popping in and out and give us our gimmicks back. We'll prefer that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But, is there anything else that you guys want to add before we close this out?
No, I think it's been great. Great updates. Again, some hit or miss, but regardless, I think the hits outweigh the misses, and yeah.
And I do want to say that I appreciate, specifically Masterverse, how every time we get a new figure, I don't know who's doing the sculpts on these, but they are upping their game literally every figure. I don't know how. But just like when you think, oh my God, this figure looks so good, they release a new picture and you're like, holy crap, like Masterverse 2 Bad, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. So I would like for Origins to have that thing as well, but it kind of seems like we're going backwards. Like they tried really hard in the beginning and now they're just stick an extra neck on Mecha Neck. Like I think some of it, we're losing the magic and Origins.
But we're also getting into the really gimmicky parts. Like they got all the figures out of the way that weren't gimmicky, and now that's all that's left. And it doesn't work with how the arms work and how everything works. And we're losing that. That's what's killing it, though. And I agree with you, though.
Think of the Extendars and Rio Blast of the world. Like Extendar at this point is just going to be like Modulok. He'll just be all pieces, and you just assemble him. Like he won't even be a figure anymore.
How are you going to do the Rio Blast?
I mean,
you have to
at
do
this
it.
point,
You have the holes in his legs.
At this point, how are they going to do Rio Blast with the backpack that comes up and over, and all the guns all in him and on him? Like,
gonna have little holes where you can just stick them.
Yeah, are they going to be snap on? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
because I feel like as we go in Origins, we're losing the magic where Masterverse is gaining it leaps and bounds. Yep. So I don't know.
But again, hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully they can adjust some of that.
I mean, Cobra Khan is after, let me say his name right, because I always say it wrong, the elephant. Cobra Khan is after the elephant, and he didn't even get a water option.
Yeah.
Like, he just has the thing you shove in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but it didn't make sense. Like, he doesn't have anything it could, like, attach on his back. At least with Snout Sprout, you could be like, here's a backpack. Like, makes sense. Or the water canisters. Like, I mean, Cobra Khan doesn't have that.
Why did we lose the lung system in Leech? Like, I don't know. As far as, like, visually, they're phenomenal. I just hate that we're giving up the gimmicks for looks.
Yeah, and again, I love the gimmicks because it's
that's what made them.
And a lot of these I'm getting for my kids, so it's great as a child having those.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, the gimmicks was what you did over and over and over and over, and you got drawn to those toys that had the gimmicks because they were gimmicky. Like, I really connected to Roboto moving his waist and his mouth moving up and down and shooting the water out of the figures and taking them into the bathtub, and Webstore by pulling the string and climbing the rope, and like the gimmicks is what drew us to them.
Well, and being able to just actually fight with them by pulling them back and whipping them.
Yeah,
forward,
even that was,
and we're not going to be seeing that here until
Thunder Punch
comes out.
Who also loses his gimmick.
Yep.
I mean, he picks up the waist spring action, but he loses his pellet firing gimmick.
Stupid safety.
Yeah. But yeah, I think all in all, we're all in agreement. Origins is killing it.
Oh, of course.
Keep it up.
We're gonna buy
Masterverse
all of them. Every one
Oh, I
of
know.
them. Every one of
Yep.
them they release. We're gonna buy them.
Did you buy the one last week, Rhino?
Oh, burn.
Well, guys, this has been fun, but I have to go get
Anybody has
my car and drive
anyone
across the country to beat up a best friend. So
if anyone happens to have an extra CamoCon, please reach out to Rhino. He
Yeah.
missed it, and us as bad friends thought everybody on the thing had one, and apparently we guessed wrong. So we are bad friends.
even though Ryan said, "Is anyone getting two to help us out?" And no, not at all. Everybody just got one.
Buy the Grayskull Loungefly backpack and a CamoCon. I was broke that day.
I pay you. I've always paid you back.
I never said you were. It was just at the moment.
With all your
So-
classics figures.
So, anyways,
So, anyways,
so again, we
stupid,
appreciate
stupid camo con.
we appreciate all of our listeners out there. And please, if this is your first time listening, please like and subscribe and tell a friend and keep spreading our love out there. Because again, the more people that are listening and the more people that are vocal out there about, Masters of the Universe, the more that Mattel's going to keep putting out. So,
And if you disagree with us, in the comments, put like, "You guys are idiots." I love the new Ratlore. He's the best Ratlore ever. So, like, if you disagree with us, tell us. We want to know. We want to debate it.
and if you love Gwildor, please tell us.
And if you love Gwildor, delete your account. Delete whatever social media you have. Delete it.
He said that
Take your
jokingly.
Motu
We love
toys
everybody.
to a Toys for Tot center, donate them, and delete your account.
So you
No one ever wants to hear from you again.
But yeah. Comment below a post. Tell us what you like. What is your worst vintage to best origins? Your best vintage to worst origins. Let us know. We'd love to hear. And we'll definitely keep the conversation going. And yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you all so much,
Take
Metal
care.
Armor He-Man's the best He-Man. Bye.
Cobra Con. Everyone got one but Rhino.
Everyone.